Good evening, world of readers. I am Book Dragon Erin, and I would like to welcome you all back to my booktube channel, where tonight I will be reviewing The Kingdoms of Ruin, Volume 1 by Yoruhashi. The Kingdoms of Ruin is a young adult sci-fi fantasy manga, and I have the first 3 volumes in the series, of which there are 7 books. They all have the same title, just different volume numbers, so this time around I will not be listing them all, but they are still so worth reading. As far as the summary goes, in the beginning, God created heaven and earth, and witches and humans. Witches were the keepers of magic, and humans were there to live in peace and harmony with the keepers of magic while asking to borrow the magic. But human nature made humans extremely greedy, and they stopped wanting to ask the witches for their powers. So the humans did the logical thing that they could think of by killing off all the witches and making science prevail over all the magics within the lands of the earth. After killing off all the witches, or so the humans believed, they rejoiced in their era of the Great Expansion, and all of their triumphs. They celebrated the deaths of all the witches, except for one, the Ice Witch Chloe. She is one of the most powerful witches in all existence. Along with Chloe is Adonis, the witch's apprentice, whom is a human but still a master of magic because Chloe raised him from the time he was a small child, and she mentored him after finding him orphaned and abandoned in his young childhood. Chloe and Adonis are eventually captured by King Goth, the witch killer king, and he absolutely humiliates Chloe by ripping her clothes off before the city of humans, who laugh at her expense and mock Adonis for not being able to use his magic just yet to save her. Chloe never wanted Adonis to hate the humankind because he is one of them, even though he is a powerful but untrained magician. He's on the same wavelength as a witch, but he needs a magical quill to write his powers into existence. That's the best way I can explain it. And the humans hate Adonis just as much as he hates them. When it appears Adonis is about to be put to death, Chloe sacrifices herself to save him by promising to do anything for King Goth if only he let Adonis live. And she lies that she stole the human boy from his parents and used dark magic to twist his mind, making him appear innocent in the eyes of the rest of the humans. No one calls Chloe's bluff, not even Adonis, who calls out, "I love you," and unfortunately he watches helplessly as Chloe is killed before him, her last words being, "I love you too, Adonis," but she is cut off mid-sentence because she is beheaded and dies. Adonis swears that he will kill every last human on the face of the planet and slaughter anyone else and everyone else who dares speak Chloe's name, but before he can put his magic to use, he is taken prisoner by King Goth and is locked away in a prison. For 10 whole years, Adonis is imprisoned and isolated in a metal chamber where he practices his magic and refines his skills while swearing revenge against King Goth and all the people who ripped away Chloe from him. All the while Adonis is trapped, a slave girl named Daroka somehow endures the abuse of the humans in the same prison as Adonis, and when her best friend is called to die, Daroka switches prison numbers with her and goes in her best friend's place. But not all hope is lost, as Daroka reveals that she has a few tricks up her sleeve. Now freeing all the prisoners, Adonis included, from the prison. Adonis has become a trained master of magic in his imprisonment, and he is the last of the magician kind. And he now kills the humans by the thousands within the city, as his magic has become exponentially more powerful than the humans' technological advances, which don't even come close to his power in a dream. After Adonis kills so many humans, evil and innocent alike, Daroka follows him and stops him, asking, "Is this what Chloe would want you to do?" And Adonis angrily shouts, "I will kill anyone who says her name. Why shouldn't I kill you, little girl?" Before Daroka reveals that not all the witches are dead, as she is one of them, and all of the witches want Adonis freed so he can help bring Chloe back from the dead. Now for my thoughts on this book. Where to begin here? Chloe is a powerful witch of whom I instantly loved and respected. Her love for Adonis knows no limits, but I still think it's kind of weird that she raised Adonis from the time he was a small boy, and then her feelings of motherly attention and mentoring love turned into the romantic sort of love. In normal circumstances, imagine this. You unofficially adopt a kid, you raise that kid, and then fall for the kid who becomes an adult. It kind of gives off Oedipus complex vibes, if you ask me, but this is a manga, and every manga I have ever read is weird in its own way, so I'll let that slide for now. Even though Chloe is a conundrum between mother and lover, I still admire her. Plus, her love is true because she said, "Hurt me, punish me, kill me, but leave Adonis out of this. I tricked him into thinking that he was in love with me. I used my magic against him." And she gave her life for the boy turned man who she loved. Yes, that is weird. Yes, that is really disturbing if you think about it, so I'm not going to think about it, and I'm going to move on from here. I think it's almost relatable how much Adonis despises people. He's got that typical broody teenage boy vibe going on, the type of moody guy who hates everyone and everything except for one person/thing, and that's Chloe. I don't believe a single teenager can convince me they liked and or loved every single person they encountered when going to school. When Chloe and Adonis were first captured by King Goth and the rest of the witch-hunting and witch-hating humans, King Goth stripped Chloe's clothes off as a way of positively humiliating her before the people who mocked her and laughed at her. In that moment, I despised King Goth. No one has a right to embarrass another, especially a man doing that to a woman. When this happens in books or reality, I just want to beat up the guy who does that to a girl. No girl deserves that sort of disrespect, even if she does things that make you want to do that to her. Although I can't think of a single situation where that would be valid. This genuinely bothered me and went above and beyond my dislike for the sound of ripping fabric. One thing I will admit right here, I hate the sound of ripping fabric more than any other sound, and that includes nails on a chalkboard. Listening to nails on a chalkboard is easier for me than listening to the sound of fabric being shredded. And even if I read a book that mentions this sound, I have a mental image of the sight and I hear it, which makes me cringe and makes my skin crawl. I can't even read romance novels where a guy rips off a girl's clothes without feeling sick to my ears, which makes me just cringe all over. I have no idea why that started, but the origin of my hatred for the sound of fabric ripping or people getting their clothes ripped off that happened in my childhood. Don't want to get into that. Don't even really remember it. Moving on. One thing that confused me in reading this manga novel was the concept of Daroka's plan sought through. What happens to Adonis and Daroka if Chloe is brought back into the picture after being resurrected as planned? On the cover of the manga, we see Adonis and Daroka the hero and secondary heroine, not Chloe, the primary heroine. Adonis is in love with Chloe and wants to resurrect her, but in getting to know Daroka, he'll probably fall for her. I don't know if that's going to happen, but the plot itself leaves it open-ended for that scenario to happen. If Chloe is eventually brought back to life in the later books of the series, there might be a love triangle between Adonis, Chloe, and Daroka. I don't feel this series is a why choose harem sort of romance series, but it isn't a why choose romance, and Chloe, I doubt, will be brought back for the sake of the plot in the rest of the series. In reading books, I enjoy putting myself in the characters' situations and imagine what I would do if I were them. In reading this book, I put myself in Adonis's place, surprise right there, and wondered what would happen and how I would feel. In pondering the idea of watching my first love die, I would feel exactly as Adonis. I would want to seek out revenge against the people who hurt my first love, then die along with them after my revenge was achieved. I almost respect Adonis for wanting revenge and plotting for 10 years. I mean, revenge was his reason for living, sure, but I still wanted to crawl into the manga novel, hug him, and tell him that there's more to life than getting revenge. I looked up the anime trailer on YouTube, and holy stars, it looked so freaking good. I don't care if this manga series has received mediocre reviews or is relatively disliked by those who read it. I love it, and I can't wait to watch the English dub anime and binge it entirely in one day. I wonder who will play Adonis, but to the producers who make the Kingdoms of Ruin series into an anime as well as the manga, please, please, please hire J. Michael Tatum to play Adonis. He was Sebastian Michaelis, and he was Kyoya Otori, and he just has so many wonderful parts. I just think J. Michael Tatum would play the perfect Adonis, and I could hear the sound of his voice and fawn over it. Now for my final notes. I rated this book 5 out of 5 stars, and as far as an official review, where to begin? Chloe is powerful, caring, courageous, and her love is everlasting when it comes to Adonis. I feel for Adonis, but not of the crushing on sort. I like him as a character and relate to the broody teenager kind of vibes where he seems to hate everyone and everything except for one person. In Adonis's case, it's Chloe. And I think it's admirable and so beautiful how Adonis places Chloe on a pedestal and worships her name and does everything that she would have wanted him to do. Besides kill all the humans, that is. A true love like that is rare but beautiful, and I was in partial agreement with Adonis in seeking his revenge. Go ahead and kill every person involved in Chloe's murder, but don't go overboard with killing innocent people. I can say this with absolute certainty because these are fictional characters in a 100% fictional world. So I say anything goes, including wishing fictional characters would just die off immediately. Now, I hate to say this because it was predictable. Daroka, the witch, who passed herself off as a human, I knew she was a witch from the start. I liked her kindness and respected her for all the selflessness she exuded from her magic, and I admired her perseverance in infiltrating the prison with the goal of freeing Adonis to resurrect Chloe, and that's honestly so badass right there. So gentle as she is as a character, she is so strong, and I love that. Will I be reading the rest of this manga series? Absolutely. Anyway, I'm gonna go do that now. So, that ends tonight's video. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button to show some support. Subscribe to my booktube channel to get more videos like this. Turn on that notification button to be notified when I upload brand new videos every single Sunday. Keep on reading and have a great day, everyone.